guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Subaru Port Richey, and guess what? We have it. This is the 2020 Subaru BRZ TS. But before we get into this, let's talk a little bit about Subaru BRZ history. So the BRZ was a joint venture between Toyota and Subaru. Subaru having the BRZ, Toyota having the 86, also used to be known as the Scion FRS. That all took place, the first year was 2013. In 2018, Subaru came out with a BRZ TS. And if you're scratching your head and you're saying, what does TS mean? It stands for Tuned by STI. So this is not a true STI edition of the BRZ, but you are getting some tuning that's been done to help increase performance in other areas rather than just throwing more horsepower at it. Now, the interesting thing is in 2018, the BRZ TS cost a little bit more money than this one, but what you did get was a fully adjustable carbon fiber rear wing. For 2020, they decided to get rid of the carbon fiber rear wing, lower the price, and feature it in that series white, ceramic white color, which I think pops perfectly. So let's go ahead. We're going to dive into this BRZ TS and see what makes it so unique. Right off the bat, the one thing you should know, only 300 of these being made. This is actually more rare than the 2018 BRZ TS because there was 500. This has 300. Off the bat, you're still going to get that same great BRZ styling, full LED headlamps, LED daytime running lamp. They went to this overall design in 2017 with these updated headlights. You drop down, you do have some fake vents, so I am gonna zonk that. I wish that they would have made this just a little bit functional since it is tuned by STI. Plus they decided to go gloss black, which that is gonna be a double zonk. I think they should have just left it flat black because you'll see in a second. As we come across the front grill area, this is one of my favorite grills that are currently sold on a sports style car. Here's the flat black. So you have all this flat black, but then the gloss black on the corners. That's why I was saying zonk twice on those. This though, the flat black I think looks super clean, takes a nice beating. You have your BRZ TS. What does that stand for? Tuned by STI, not Santa Claus, STI. You're gonna get that wonderful cherry blossom color, not only in the S, but also the trim around the grille. That is part of that STI heritage because of the cherry blossom trees around the facility. Now, when we get up onto the hood, still same great lines. Like I said, little bit of a body line on the front fascia. The hood though is mostly flat except for the peak corners. And it's wonderful because sitting behind the wheel of this car, especially if you're doing a track day or going down your favorite twisty road, it gives you good reference points to hit your marks every single turn, every single lap, every single time. As we come around the bend, here is some of the special goodness sprinkled in for this BRZ TS. So you're gonna get these special STI wheels, Subaru Technica International. I like the name badges. The only problem I have with that, it's gonna confuse people. They're gonna see the TS and they're gonna see this and they're gonna say, what does that mean? But I do love the bronze wheel. Nice, good looking 10-spoke wheel. They are wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport tires. Great tire, gonna give you grip and durability. And you're getting the performance package beefed up brakes, those Brembo calipers, 4-piston, and underneath for each of these corners, all 4 corners of these fenders are the Sachs suspension setup. So you're gonna have the better dampers, all 4 corners from that company Sachs. That's gonna give you not only a better ride, but also the handling. Speaking of handling, underneath the chassis are a bunch of stiffeners that have been added to make the chassis just a little bit more rigid, to give you less flex, which is gonna make this thing carve corners like you carve a pumpkin for Halloween. So very nice setup. Going down the side, you do have this decorative design here. It's not meant to look like a vent. I'm digging it. It breaks it up because it would be a little bit bland without it. So I do like that style just kind of sprinkled in. With the TS, you're gonna get the blacked out mirror caps, also the blacked out shark fin. Everything else is your standard BRZ. As we work towards the rear, they didn't go cheap. They actually did Brembo calipers on the rear as well. These tires, if you're wondering, they're a 215 with 40 series sidewall, and they're the Michelin's good tires. When they first came out with the BRZ, the tires they were throwing on them were not very track efficient, so to speak. When we get to the back, here's the big difference. So on the 2018, you had a carbon fiber adjustable rear spoiler that was about this high. They decided to just stay with your standard BRZ spoiler. This is aluminum with the painted caps on the end. We drop down. Now here's where I'm a little confused. Why didn't they black out the Subaru badge? I don't understand that. And the BRZ badge. I think that would have looked a lot cleaner on the back with the ceramic white, but you have your Subaru badge, BRZ TS, that cherry blossom color around the lower section. That's to signify that STI connection. And I love the stock exhaust, the way they just look with this rear diffuser. Really gives it a nice sports car aggressive look. But why don't we go ahead, pop the hood, and see what's powering this BRZ. All right, guys, we got the hood pop. You do have a prop rod. I know how you guys feel. You know how I feel. I'm not going to zonk it. People have been complaining. You do have, though, that 2-liter flat 4 engine, naturally aspirated engine. Is there more power? Unfortunately, no. But guess what? There is going to be a replacement for the BRZ coming. A new redesign with a turbocharged engine, Subaru is saying. But this one, naturally aspirated, 205 horsepower, 156 pound-feet of torque. It has that nice slick shifting 6-speed manual transmission. Remember, STI tuned springs and the Sachs dampers. This car weighs a very feather light, by today's standards, 2,798 pounds. 0 to 60, if you know how to dance, about 6.2 seconds. Great MPGs, 24 in the city, 33 in the highway. One of my favorite things about this engine is, first of all, when you open up the hood, you see that bright red powder coat finish. This is your intake plenum. Back there is your transmission. You could actually see the transmission as it's bolted to the back of the motor there, your alternator, all the good inner workings. This is how you teach people. You share the car joy, the enthusiasm for the engine and all its inner bits. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this BRZ TS and see what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside the BRZ TS. I know you're at that point where you're like, Joe, enough talk about the car, how much is it? Now remember, they're only making 300 of them. You're looking at around $33,000. That's actually $2,000 cheaper than the 2018 model. But like I said, you're not getting that carbon fiber adjustable rear wing. Let's see what you are getting. Now, I love what they did. They brought some STI touches with the red leather, the red stitching with the black looks phenomenal. You got the Alcantara with the red stitching and some leather with red stitching around the speaker cover. You have some, I don't want to say it looks like faux carbon fiber because it's not really trying to, but you got some nice trim around the switch gear. It's not just gloss black, which is a nice welcome touch. Soft material on the dash, a little bit of silver around the AC vents. I love the red stitching on this little bump pad. The way they kind of blend the AC vents is really nice. A little bit of gloss black here, not too bad. You have that 7-inch infotainment system, that Starlink system, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, navigation on this one. So you just click it, there's our navigation. You go back to home, you drop down. This is where it's a little dated. So I am gonna zonk it. You have your digital clock. It looks like something from a Casio. And then you have your digital dual climate controls, which are really nice. They're finished with these silver knobs. Very nice touch. You got your toggle switches. Here's a nice touch. You don't get this on the WRX or the STI. Series White is the nice bright red STI push button. You have a little cubby here for some Jolly Ranchers and 2 USBs, not just one, but 2. They give you the bright red STI shift knob with the red stitch work. Look at these short throws. Look at this. Click, click, click. I love that. That's what makes driving so much fun. This is a little bit harder plastic, but nothing too bad that you're going to touch a lot. You do have the nice trim on the good old-fashioned e-brake. Here is your standard key fob. Would have been nice if they gave you a BRZ TS key fob, but they did not. Nice silver on the sides. No armrest, so that is a zonk. I know you could option one, not option it, but you could actually order one from a catalog, but it would be nice just to have it right here already. You do have a 12 volt, and you got your little party tray. Instead of putting drinks in here, I'd say M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, and some Slim Jims. That sounds like bad breath, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do when you're hungry, right? Seats, I love them. They're not Recaros, but they look just like a race seat. The Alcantara, the stitch work, the BRZ TS embroidery, nice bolstering, nothing too crazy, but it's gonna hold you in place really, really well. There's that logo there, the BRZ TS. And as you can see, I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom. I could put a helmet on, do my track day. You have an auto-dimming frameless mirror, which is a nice touch, but they did a lot of extra touches to the inside that you're not gonna find on the Series White WRX or the STI. But why don't you come on over here to the business end? I wanna show you behind the wheel of this BRZ TS. All right, guys, business time. You do have manual controls, but I like the STI aluminum sill plate. Those pedals are like made for a race car, real easy to heel toe downshift. This car is about carving corners. If you think you're gonna be the drag race champion of the world, you better put a LS swap in this thing or something, because it ain't gonna happen. But on a road course, you're gonna be lethal if you know what you're doing. Steering wheel, just a nice round steering wheel. Buttons are super small. On the TS, they add the red leather on the bottom. The red stitching looks great. And then that dash just makes total sense. You have a tach in the center. I like the way they integrate the digital speedometer with a fuel gauge. You have an actual analog speedometer. And then watch this. Over on the right, look at the gauges that they have there. Really, really nice setup. You could have a dyno sheet readout, all that information on the screen right there. And what's nice too is when you fire this up compared to a standard BRZ, it actually says STI and shows a BRZ TS. I better show that to them, Tom. Come on back, because they're gonna be like, why didn't you just show it to us? So I'm shutting the car off. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the car on now. I'm gonna start it up, clutch in. See how you get the STI with the BRZ around there? Really nice touch. Even that Alcantara on the top of the hood for your gauges. Really, really just, everything just feels finished in here. It's like the end of this generation, because they're saying that 2021, there's supposed to be a new BRZ. Oh, I almost forgot. Red seatbelts. You gotta have your red seatbelts, especially with all this other red in here. Why don't we check out the trunk though, see how usable this BRZ is as a daily driver. All right, guys, time to check out what kind of junk we can put in the trunk. Lift it on up. Actually, the opening's a little tight, but you'll be surprised. Once you get things past the opening, you actually have plenty of room. The seats do fold down, which is great, so you can put longer items. And that's what makes this car a little bit more usable than, say, a Miata, is that trunk space is really plentiful, where it's very sparse in the Miata. But let's get to the best part. Let's take this BRZ TS for a spin and see if STI did the right tuning. All right, guys, we're leaving Subaru of Port Richey. We're in the 2020 Subaru BRZ TS, pulling away, especially after driving my wife's BRZ. If you're hoping for quicker acceleration, unfortunately, you're not getting that. 205 horsepower, 159 pound-feet of torque, but you know what? Once you get up and running, she runs well, and once the road becomes a ribbon of twists, that's really where it all just comes to life, and she wakes up and you're humming like you'd never hummed before. Inside, I really do like the way they brought a lot of the touches from the exterior into the interior. The red trim in here on the steering wheel, the seat belt, it just makes the whole experience a little bit more special. And that's what this car is about, you know, it's about having something a little bit different, only 300 of them, and that's it. Looking out over the dash, you got great visibility. The back window, the third brake light is kind of a little high, but other than that, you're good to go. And I'm telling you, no matter how many times I see a BRZ, which is a lot, because there's obviously one in my driveway, but when I see them out on the road, they always catch my eye. And I think with this color combo, the ceramic white, which is a nice, bright, flat white, no metallic in it, really pops so well, especially with the bronze wheels. But let's do a little acceleration. Here we go. Dead stop. Second gear. Nice short throws. Super smooth. You know what's nice is that when you're leaving the line, the clutch is easy to modulate. Super smooth on the power delivery. There is still that little pesky dip, but other than that, feels really, really good. The steering is so tight and direct in this car that if you want that old school Japanese import 1990s feel, but you like to have amenities like, you know, air conditioning that works really well, navigation, Apple CarPlay and all that good stuff, then this really will help you relive that period of time because it just has such a raw feeling to it that I love. So driving this BRZ TS, you definitely could feel the extra work that they've done with the chassis stiffening. And I'm telling you right now, the ride quality with these Sachs dampers are really, really amazing. They ride well just on normal road conditions, but they also feel obviously really, really good if you're going through any kind of twisty turns or anything like that. On the inside, everything is easy to get because guess what? It's right there near you. So getting to the infotainment system, getting to the AC controls and all that good stuff is real simple. And you know, I didn't showcase the back seats. They're kind of non-existent, to be honest with you. If you're anybody older than 2, you're not gonna wanna sit back there. But let's see how we go into this right-hand bend. So really nice, just the way it holds a line, super smooth. On the brakes. Brakes feel great. I mean, the brakes are so magnificent with those Brembo calipers. They feel super, super well. Nice sound. You can hear the induction noise of the air getting sucked into that intake plenum. And then you have the nice exhaust sound, which obviously a lot of people modify those and whatnot, and you could make it sound as loud as you want. All right, guys, we're in this abandoned parking lot. I just want to show you the handling characteristics of this car. A lot of people are going to autocross this car, and many times it's in an abandoned parking lot or a parking lot that's not being used. So let's see how she handles on these tight confines, on throttle, second gear, on the brakes, feel good. Look at this, nice, smooth, crisp turn in. On the brakes, feeling nice. So just really, really smooth. I mean, it allows you to focus on your points, your turn-in and everything. Really, really crisp. Really nice. And then, like I said, at the end of the day, you're getting that great suspension, which is not only helping you in the turns, but also helping you over the bumps and whatnot. It helps keep you planted and allows you to focus on exactly what you need to focus on, and that's driving, which is great. All right, guys, let's see how she handles into this left-hand bend on the brakes. Really nice. You can never get bored of that noise. It sounds phenomenal. And this is just a stock setup, obviously, but the sound is just so phenomenal, and it feels really good. Even being 6 feet tall, sitting in this seat, they don't squeeze you. They'll hold you in just enough to where you're not going to be sliding around like you are sloshing around in a bathtub or something. And it allows you to hit your marks. And guess what? You may go home with a trophy at the end of the day at your next autocross event if you have the skills and you have this car. But we're gonna go ahead and get back to Subaru Port Richey. Hopefully this gave you a nice overview of the BRZ TS. They definitely have tuned this into an even more lethal track weapon or autocross weapon. And the great news is, as you can see, you can drive it every single day and enjoy it. So I'll see you back at Subaru Port Richey in a split second. All right, guys, been another wonderful day here at Subaru Port Richey. I definitely got to thank Larry, Spencer, Tony, and the rest of the crew getting us access to this BRZ TS. You know what? If you like special cars and you've been wanting to get one of these, this really is the perfect one for you. One of only 300 But at the end of the day, you know what? We'll keep bringing these cars. It's going to be interesting to see what the 2021 BRZ is going to be all about with a turbocharged engine. But if you like seeing sports cars on the channel, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radies Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Radies Rise merch. You got to give it up to Big Guns McGee. He's loving this BRZ. He's excited for the next generation. Thank you, Tom, for your hard work. And just like always, I'll see you on the next ride.